Good morning. Looks like I'm live. Welcome to the Presence of Light Talks with Charlie Riverman Bergeron. Facebook has some new way of getting on live, which I tried. It confused the living daylights out of me. And then I came back to the old program, which they confused me on that again. So awareness is today's talk. How do we become aware of things? And sometimes suddenly in a moment's notice, and how do we handle that? I really wasn't, I wasn't going to talk about that, but it is awareness. So welcome. I see people are arriving, so it is successful. I have arrived here on Humanity Healing to talk to you all on this amazing sunny day here in York, Maine. Anita, good morning. Julia, good morning. Yeah, so awareness is sort of, it was a card I pulled, but something that I've been challenged by lately. Perhaps an overabundance of awareness. And many of you may also be feeling that right now as we are in a situation in the world where fear is being spread to us on many different levels, particularly with this new virus that's going around and the inconsistencies and the confusion of the leadership of the world as to what the program is going to be for this and what the protocol is, etc. And we have many people pointing their finger of blame at this, that, or the other thing, when really the true purpose is to let's find a solution to this so that it doesn't become more than it is. So awareness is what we're hit with every day, and it doesn't have to be negative, it can be positive. So in the top quote there on my page here, I said from I usually can't pronounce his name, Nisargadatta Maharaj, is how do you go about finding anything? By keeping your mind and your heart on it. Interest there must be, and steady remembrance. To remember what needs to be remembered is the secret of success. You come to it through earnestness. And that can take us a lot of different places. But I think the key message here is that when we tune into our heart in earnestness, truly what we want is an awareness that resonates with our hearts. And when we tap into that and follow it, we can make our way through the fear. We can make our way through the confusion because we're centered. We're depending on our own inner wisdom and knowledge and guidance from light and above, or wherever you feel you receive your guidance from, and trusting that and knowing that around us there's all this that we need to be aware of, but we don't have to necessarily get swept away by it. Morning, Joanne. Lana, good morning. So this is an important time for us to be very, very aware of so many things. In the Wikipedia, I looked up the definition, and the definition is Awareness is the ability to directly know and perceive, to feel, or to be cognizant of events. More broadly, it's the state of being consciousness of something, being conscious of something, rather. Another definition describes it as a state wherein a subject is aware of some information when that information is directly available and to bring to bear in the direction of a wide range of behavioral actions. So awareness leads us through a process where we receive information and we process that, and energetically we will either stay neutral or we will be triggered into fear or exaltation. Those are the opposites. Most of the time when we receive and have awareness, we stay somewhere in the middle. But as I said earlier in this talk, is that we're being fed fear, lines and lines and lines and lines of energy that have great fear plugged into them intentionally to disturb us. Yes, it's positive. We do need the alarm system to go off in our heads to say, okay, we have a problem here and we need to protect ourselves and we need to protect others. So this is a serious problem. But can we do that without promoting chaos and confusion within each individual person? So that was my issue with the awareness this morning as I listened to the news. Not that I wanted to, but due to my sciatica, I was on the floor doing stretches trying to relieve pain, and it was on. I should have put meditation music on. I would have been far better off. So the first card I pulled today was awareness, and this is a beautiful picture of the Crab Nebula. For some reason, I feel called to the Crab Nebula. It's amazing. I never seen it in person, but I look at this and I just say, it's almost like the neural network of my brain. I look at that and I say, that's what my brain feels like. It feels like that Crab Nebula. And all the information I receive goes through here in this network and it fires off all of these images and thoughts, and it becomes my awareness. So the message of awareness here is, as I become more aware of my inner nature, I become more aware of the spiritual vibrations of others. And I think all of us are going through this period of time, 2020, where we are not only working on our own spiritual paths, but we're looking around at other people's spiritual paths. And rather than judging the paths themselves, we find ourselves judging the commitment people have to honoring those spiritual paths. And what we're seeing is a lot of falsity. We're becoming aware of falsity from what people say and what they do, from people's words and their actions. And we're not doing it in a way of judgment, but it's appearing out of the awareness. It's becoming clearly visible and seen on levels of our conscious awareness, I think at much deeper levels than we've ever experienced. And we realize that our journey with ourselves is really about correcting that kind of energetic, the word malevolence comes in. Because it's not good to have and practice and be and say you are something, and then on social media or wherever you are, in the supermarket or your friend's house, and then turn around, walk out the door, and do something completely 180 degrees from that. And it's being seen, it's being recognized. We're seeing it in our governments. We're watching them play out this massive program of point the finger and he said, she said, and I'm reminded of, in the beginning I says, I'm reminded of the third grade. And I had to downgrade that to, now I'm reminded of the second grade. When we were in the second grade, and we would tattle and we would poke and we would push because we didn't know anybody. We were just trying to find our own self-worth. But this is a larger process. You don't do that with the whole world, and yet this is what we see. We see this second grade mentality. And so you end up with bullies, and you end up with people who sound like they're the next rising star. But then when you turn the page, you realize, oh, well, they're doing drugs, they're molesting children, they're, yeah, they got billions of dollars, but wait a minute, there's something wrong here. So this is the awareness I'm tapping into today. And all of us are tapping into, whether we're consciously aware of it or not, because that continual effort to put that out to the public wears down on all our defense systems, all our autonomic defense systems, and gets into our physicality and starts to disturb us subconsciously, superconsciously, and in our everyday choices. So what do we do? What do we do during these times of great confusion, great stress? Countries are separating, elections are going on, royal families are disowning their children or whatever they're doing. I mean, I can't count the number of things that are happening around the world that are just expressing this desire to become whole again. We're fragmented, and we're all aware of it on some level. So my sciatica, I contribute to that this is how I'm sympathetically feeling this. Not only in my personal life, there's issues, but in the greater life that I have with the whole earth, with the universe, it's affecting me, and that's how it's appearing. That sciatica is my awareness telling me, look at the pain, look at the pain, feel the pain. Know that the pain is not going to go away easy, that somehow we're going to have to endure the pain in order to move through the pain, and realize that the pain is only a symptom. It's a symbol of something far greater that's wrong. So I found a prayer. By Don Miguel Ruiz. And I would just like you to listen to the words of this prayer. I'm going to slide it over here so I can read it. And know that all things can be changed within us through our deep commitment by prayer, by meditation, by grounding ourselves deeper into the heart of Mother Earth, by allowing the light of the universe to flow through us without obstruction. There are so many ways we can bring ourselves back to center so that we can make it through this period of extreme awareness that we're under. So I ask you to just take a deep breath quietly, close your eyes if you wish, chat in the chat box. Just be at peace and be aware. And I will read this prayer. Today, Creator of the universe, we ask that you open our heart and open our eyes so that we can enjoy all your creations and live in eternal love with you. Help us to see you in everything we perceive with our eyes, with our ears, with our heart, with all our senses. Let us perceive with eyes of love so that we find you wherever we go and see you in everything you create. Let us see you in every cell of our body, in every emotion of our mind, in every dream, in every flower, in every person we meet. You cannot hide from us because you are everywhere, and we are one with you. Let us be aware of that truth. Let us be aware of our power to create a dream of heaven where everything is possible. Help us to use our imagination to guide the dream of life, the magic of our creation, so that we can live without fear, without anger, without jealousy, without envy. Give us a light to follow, and let today be the day that our search for love and happiness is over. Today, let something extraordinary happen that will change our lives forever. Let everything we do and say be an expression of the beauty in our heart, always based on love. Help us to be the way you are, to love the way you love, to share the way you share, to create a masterpiece of beauty and love, the same way that all of your creations are masterpieces of beauty and love. Beginning today and gradually over time, help us increase the power of our love so that we may create a masterpiece of art, our own life. Creator, we give you all our gratitude and love because you have given us life. Amen. Just take a moment and allow the words and the awareness that you received through that reading to manifest in little pockets within your physical body. Find a way to feed that to those little pockets of fear that come up in our awareness, knowing that here in the present is where we are the most powerful. That we have the power to overcome all that we confront without anger, without frustration, just by knowing that we are part of this grand theme we call Earth and humanity. This relationship of awareness between Earth and humanity isn't about us and them. It's we. There never has been any separation, except in our own minds, which we have allowed to get a little soft and a little out of alignment because of all the wonderful things that we've co-created together to make our lives simpler and easier. Yet your awareness will surely tell you that there was a big price that we're paying for all of this. And now we have this opportunity to look at awareness not as something to run away from, but something to embrace deeper and to help us, to help guide us in every step and every movement and every choice that we have. Whether it being, do I want a cup of coffee? Or do I want this job, this new job? Everything is about our awareness. And our awareness, when it aligns with our heart and the creation, the heart of creation, it's a win-win. And I'm here to help others create that win-win. Just by talking, just by doing what I do as a planetary healer with the earth and the energies. I expect nothing in return other than to see all of this become whole again. To see the separation diminish. To know that the children who are being born into this world 70 years from now will still be here flourishing, knowing that the legacy we have left them before we left the earth seeded a pathway of awareness for them that allowed them to make choices far better than many of us have made, and certainly much better than our ancestors have made. So I tell you to carry this with you, awareness, and see where awareness is playing throughout your daily life. See where your awareness takes you, and don't judge it, because it's really an amazing tool. It's one of the tools in our toolbox that we don't think of, because it's not something you can touch or hold. But it's the gift of Creator. And it's the gift that was given that's the reason why we're here. We're still here now. In closing, I have one more reading from Illy Sierra. And I want to leave you with this on the sidelines here. I've got something, strong inner need, Joanne Gallant Chilton. There's a strong inner need to take a step back, breathe, and decide how much I can personally take in. I find my level to put up with bullshit is very thin and would sooner cut ties or walk away. Creating art keeps me grounded and in a state of inner happiness. Thank you, Joanne. Here is one person's way of taking her awareness and when it bothers her, turning it into something positive. And that's what I'm talking about. We all would like to take it and scream or go back to bed and hide under the covers. This is what we need. Take a step back, breathe, choose again. And from Illy Sierra, who is a similar to Ramana Maharshi Krishnamurti, lived in Eastern Europe, actually, and I didn't really know of him until a person started writing books of his words. And this message comes from the book, The Silence of the Mind. With all-encompassing attention, the being is present, here and now. All the senses are awake. Harmony is inherent. I am one with life, a potential wholeness, like a burning flame fueling itself. I solve everything I encounter. I don't postpone it for another time. In such a state, there are no problems, no conflicts. In movement, they are all resolved, if encountered perfectly. Intelligence and love appear endlessly through silence. The sacred within us demands it constantly, that we create a climate of peace effortlessly through this blissful encounter and perfect integration. When the whole being is awake and completely independent, when the limited self is absent, we are essentially being one with the divine, a sacred creative force, help for the entire world through our integration. The last words, through our integration. This is what needs to be taken heed of, is that as we integrate with each other on higher levels of awareness, it's not going to be as tedious or demanding as we think it is. It's relatively very simple. It's about finding like-minded people, joining with them, the people that we resonate with on a heart level, seeking and knowing that they're speaking their truth as closely as they can. We're all working through this. And if we need to call them out to help them, please do. When you know that calling them out is not going to help them, they're only going to attack you, resist that. Because we all know in our hearts who we are to be aware of and around with. So I invite you to look at the world from your heart, knowing that through this process, we're all in this journey together, and no matter what happens that the news and everything blasts at us, we are true, sovereign children of creation. And right now, for many of us, it's the only way through what I called last week the black wall, that wall of darkness. And it's not we're going to have to pass through it. It's going to dissipate by our living in our true awareness. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for David, good morning. Anita, thank you for showing up, being here. And hopefully the video went out and goes out well. And if not, so be it. It is in the records now anyway. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. Together, we are unity. And have never not been. Love you all. Till next Friday, enjoy your awareness. Play with it. Tap into it. And stand in your sovereign self and say, aha, I no longer have to do what I've been doing. I have a new plan. See you next Friday. Bye-bye.